From KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
An attempt to end frustration and headaches over construction delays is at the center of one councilman's latest proposal. How his plan to hold contractors accountable aims to benefit businesses.
Turning their loss into a loved one's legacy. The family of a Uvalde victim is focused on keeping her memory alive, how they hope to help someone else live their dream.
The ice has melted, the freezing temperatures have moved on, but some Texans are still in the dark tonight. The problem one power company says it's facing to get the lights back on. But first,
we need help. That is the message from businesses around San Antonio as construction cuts into their profits.
Delays have proven to be an issue. Now, one proposal looks to increase contractors' consequences and their incentives. The Night Team's John Paul Barajas explains.
Ongoing construction, or lack thereof, now growing pains affecting some small businesses.
Our rent just went up, and we're trying to get creative, and we're trying to trust the process.
Sergio Acosta owns Social Spot just off Broadway. He says trusting the process is leading to a lack of people to socialize with at his bar, therefore lack of revenue.
We were able to save some cash to hold us through, but it's kind of getting to that point now where it's like, I don't know how much longer it can hold us through.
Acosta plans to apply for the COVID Construction Recovery Grant Program. Qualifying small businesses can get a maximum of $35,000, but not all dealing with construction woes will benefit, like El Camino owner Ricky Ortiz.
We opened up after the pandemic, so we don't really qualify through a technicality. When this Avenue B project started, it probably knocked down revenue about 60%.
San Antonio City Council is taking actions. Its new responsible bidders ordinance will give the city more say in the hiring process, and a new proposal aims to hold contractors accountable.
Let's take these daily fines that are accumulating, right? And instead of the city keeping that money, let's give it to the local businesses that are being impacted.
District 1 Councilman Mario Bravo says he wants to increase the fines for contractors missing deadline, but also reward them for each day they finish ahead of schedule. What those dollar amounts will look like is still being determined.
It's that shoulda, coulda, woulda, like you wish it would have happened a long time ago.
It'd be nice if the city could maybe think about these things before they, start their projects.
But both business owners are thankful at least something is being done.
It took some crying, but they're listening.
Councilman Bravo tells us his recommendations will likely not go into effect for another 4 to 5 months, and that's if they are passed. As for the COVID construction funds, those will go to businesses who are most impacted by both the pandemic as well as construction. The application window for those funds will be from February 13th through the 28th. We'll have a link to that application on our website, KSAT.com. On Broadway, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. Not too far from where John Paul is, we have traffic and water issues right now as crews fix a water line. This is specifically along the intersection of North St. Mary Street and Mistletoe. San Antonio Water System says that crews are doing emergency repair work there, so the road's going to be closed through 6 a.m. tomorrow. So if you plan to be that area before then, look for an alternate route. Also, that area is not going to have access to running water through 5 a.m. tomorrow.
New tonight on the Night Beat, we now know the name of a 20-year-old man shot outside his Southside apartment overnight. He is identified as Ethan Ronhell. According to the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office, the shooting, it happened around 1 a.m. at the San Juan Square Apartments on South Calaveras Street, not far from Frio City Road and Highway 90. San Antonio police say they were responding to a different call when they found Ronhell on the ground. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police hope surveillance video in the area will help them find the suspect.
Today would be Tess Mata's 11th birthday. Instead, she was killed in her classroom at Robb Elementary. She wanted to be a Texas State Bobcat, just like her older sister, and her family has found a way to honor that wish and keep her legacy going. They tell the Night Team's Lee Waldman that it's why they're starting a scholarship in her name.
Valentine's was hers because February 6th is her birthday.
Tess Mata came into this world just as dramatically as she lived.
You're delivering this baby now. And I was like, well, why? What happened? She's like, your blood pressure is way too high.
Veronica and Jerry Mata's youngest daughter was full of sass, sparkle, and a little bit of diva energy.
And every 5 minutes she'd come in with a different dress into the family room. How many times are you gonna change this? No, well, I'm just showing you.
Favorite candies were the Dum Dums.
With their oldest daughter, Faith, away at Texas State,
And I'm going to write take one.
their home is quiet without Tessa's laugh.
I tell Jerry, I was like, I miss it. I miss just hearing that laugh.
In the 4th grade, Tess told her dad to start saving for her college. She knew exactly where she wanted to go.
She knew she was going to go to Texas State.
They made her an honorary Bobcat after her death and are working with the Matas on a way to honor her life.
When we created the scholarship, we asked them to do it in the health profession field.
The Tess Marie Mata Scholarship will help students to follow the dreams the 10-year-old had for herself.
She's got the biggest smile right now because she knows that everybody's watching her, hearing about all the great things that she's done and all the great things that she could have done.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
I love that. Now, their goal is to raise $25,000, so that scholarship is going to be endowed for years to come. As of tonight, they've raised just over $1,500. If you'd like to donate, we have a link on our website. And by the way, this May, Tessa's older sister, Faith, is going to graduate from Texas State. Her mom says that Tess actually learned to swim so that she could jump into the river at graduation with Faith, which is a Texas State tradition. And Faith says that when she does that this year, she's going to do it holding a picture of Tess.
Remember their names. Well, the power slowly turning back on for Pedernales Electric Cooperative customers. About 300 customers, though, are still in the dark tonight. Here's a look at their outage map. The majority of the issues are for their customers farther up north near the Dripping Springs area. But with some weather moving in the next few days, work expected to slow down some. A spokesperson for the company said the rough terrain and more complex fixes are partly to blame in rural areas where they've not been able to restore power as quickly.
And the warmth sure felt good today. High temperature, 76 degrees. And this time last week, we were down in the 30s. This is a welcome change. Tomorrow morning, get ready for temperatures around 60 degrees. I think 62 around San Antonio. Some upper 50s into the hill country. Kerrville, for example, 59 degrees. Meanwhile, Pleasanton about 64 to start the day. This warmth will be fluctuating quite a bit throughout the week. Temperatures up and down will be as cool as 60 for highs by Friday and Saturday. We have a few cold fronts to talk about, and more importantly, some much needed rain right around the corner. I'll tell you how much we can get and time it out for you tomorrow coming up.
Thank you, Adam. You know, the images are hard to look at. The death toll rising in that 7.8 magnitude earthquake near the border of Turkey and Syria.
You know that more than 4,000 people are dead. Rescue workers are searching for survivors in these massive, massive piles of rubble.
Yeah, ABC's Tim Pulliam has the video showing the moments the first quake hit and the recovery efforts happening now.
Tonight, the death toll climbing from the biggest earthquake to hit Turkey in nearly 100 years. This is the chaos following the 7.8 magnitude shock rattling the Turkey and Syria border overnight. Thousands in both countries now dead. The first quake hit while many were sleeping just after 4 a.m. local time in a Turkish city near Syria. New video showing the moment it happened. You can hear the shaking, the power flashes, then darkness, followed by at least 75 powerful aftershocks. Just hours after the initial quake, TV crews captured this building collapsing. More than 5,400 buildings destroyed, and while the devastation is enormous, there are some miracles. In Turkey, rescuers pulling this man out of a tiny crevice of a collapsed building, carefully placing him on a stretcher, carrying him to safety. And to the north of Aleppo, a toddler saved, but sadly her mother and 2 siblings were killed.
We have information that hundreds of patients are still under the debris. The situation is too bad. We need urgent help.
Turkey's president says 45 nations are sending volunteers and aid. President Biden says he's deeply saddened by this tragedy. His administration also deploying 2 79-person urban search and rescue teams to the region. Turkey has declared a 7-day mourning period in the wake of the devastating quake. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, what is San Antonio doing? Well, today we spoke with an event coordinator for the Raindrop Foundation of San Antonio. It's a local nonprofit that's founded by Turkish Americans. Farhat Ozurk says that his parents and close relatives are safe after the earthquake, but he knows that people here in San Antonio who know people in Turkey who can't say the same. And as the country looks to recover, Ozurk feels helpless being so far away.
I keep thinking about, should I fly to Turkey to help the people remove the rubbles and save as many people as we can, because it is hard to stay here when your loved ones are, trying to survive under those, brick and mortar.
Yeah, and they're still trying to pull people out. Now, the Raindrop Foundation is planning to hold a fundraiser and a vigil. If you'd like to be there or you'd like to help, you can visit our website, KSAT.com, for more information.
All right, take a look at this. A speeding ambulance, not trying to get to an emergency. Actually, it's trying to get away. How police were able to stop the thief behind the wheel.
And concerns over the popular social media app haven't gone away for Governor Greg Abbott, who he's now trying to ban from using TikTok, and how soon that could happen.
20 days of trial, all coming down to one sentence. The reaction from Andreen McDonald's family after her husband was sentenced for her killing. It's next on the Night Beat. It's time to take a look at some of today's big headlines in your Night Beat news flash. The trial lasted nearly 3 weeks. The sentencing, only a few hours. It's a 20-year sentence for Andre McDonald, who's convicted of manslaughter for the death of his wife, Andreen. He took the stand in his own defense in this trial, admitting to killing his wife. He testified that she attacked him, so he tripped her and kicked her, then disposed of her body, hit it with a hammer, and set it on fire. After the sentence handed down, Andreen's sister and her father addressed the court and Andre.
She suffered so much. Before all of this, she was emotionally and psychologically pure. Today, she suffers from so much because of your goodness and actions.
I want you to know, in spite of everything, I forgive you, I love you, and I forgive you.
A letter was also read to him from his daughter. McDonald must serve 10 years before he's eligible for parole. Governor Greg Abbott going up against Chinese-owned social media app TikTok. The plan to ban the app statewide would only affect state agencies and their employees. The governor's office says it's a part of a statewide model security plan. It would block downloads or the use of the app on state-issued devices, along with personal devices used for state business. Each state agency will have until February 15th to create their own policy that complies with the governor's plan. It's something you don't see every day, a high-speed chase involving an ambulance. But don't worry, it wasn't an emergency cruise behind the wheel. Instead, it was an already accused car thief. This was the scene today in Houston. The fire department took to Twitter to announce the ambulance was stolen. One of the supervisors at the fire station who witnessed the vehicle being taken jumped into their own vehicle to follow it. They eventually lost the suspect, though. There you see police using spikes to slow the ambulance down until they're able to make their move. You saw the guy jump out of the driver's seat, took him down at an intersection. That suspect under arrest tonight. And that's a look at your Nightbeat news flash.
Less than 1 day's worth. That is the blood, all the blood that the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center has right now. So it needs your help. Now, you can blame last week's winter weather for that. Inventory is low because organizations had to cancel blood drives and people also canceled their donation appointments. Now, here's the deal. If you have type O blood especially, they really need you. If you'd like to donate, you can do it tomorrow. There's going to be a blood drive at Frost Bank on West Houston Street from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also make an appointment at one of the Blood and Tissue Center's 9 locations, so plenty of opportunities.
Speaking of opportunities, we've got some rain opportunities coming up this week, Adam.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here for tomorrow, and especially by this time tomorrow in terms of those rain opportunities. And you'll wake up to a lot of dampness and reduced visibility and that drizzle, the nuisance moisture. But be prepared for some real showers later on by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Take a look at our rain chances here, and we have it at 60% during the day tomorrow. But keep in mind, that's going to be very light. You know, in the morning, it'll be fog, drizzle, mist. Midday and afternoon, just light very light showers coming and going. Heavier, more meaningful rain by Tuesday evening through Tuesday night and even early Wednesday morning. Let's get right to the latest futurecast. And yeah, it shows the low clouds, fog, and even some drizzle likely to start the day tomorrow for the morning drive. So nuisance dampness early. We get into the late morning and midday around lunchtime, noon hour, starting to see a few little light showers popping up on the radar screen here and there. Just widely separated in nature and generally light as well. This will go off and on, intermittently throughout the afternoon and into the early evening. And then after sunset, and especially closer to 9, 10 o'clock, as a cold front starts to drop in, that's when we'll likely see thunderstorms and some real rain develop and pockets of heavier rain here and there. Not everybody's going to get the heavy rain, but where those thunderstorms develop and drop the heavy rain, we could quickly see an inch or more coming out of those storms. So this is just a generalization of this computer model, but I like how it's on board with enough instability. The ingredients are there, low level moisture in place, and enough forcing to get some of those showers and storms going. And keep in mind, there is the chance of a severe thunderstorm or two, especially east of basically 281. Now here's just a computer model in terms of rainfall totals, so you take it with a bit of a grain of salt. And the biggest takeaway here is the potential for an inch or more within some of the heavy downpours. Just because it says 1.11 in Bulverde doesn't mean you're going to see that. And actually, you're probably not going to. It's not going to be 1.11, maybe a little more, most likely a little bit less. But the key here is that where some of those heavy downpours set up, there is that potential for an inch or more. So cross your fingers for your neighborhood. I mentioned the severe threat generally along and east of Highway 281. That's where we could see some isolated severe thunderstorms. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow night tracking it for you, and we'll be live on the app as necessary as well, the KSAT Weather Authority app. Temperatures 64 right now, but dew point of 59. Southeast wind, it's picking up. It's a little breezy out there, and that's going to cause that dew point to rise. Dew point and the air temperature are going to meet in the lower 60s, and that's going to give us some mugginess and even fog and dampness to start the day tomorrow. So dew point's upper 50s, near 60 now, but sticky tomorrow. Dew point is 64. Once the cold front hits tomorrow night, it sweeps away the humidity, and it'll be an afterthought for the rest of the week. 62 in the morning, 66 at noon, 70 degrees the high temperature tomorrow. There are those ups and downs we talked about earlier, a series of cold fronts, one tomorrow night, another Thursday night, affecting our temperatures. So down near freezing again by Saturday morning, but nothing but sun Thursday through Saturday.
Yeah, but still cold, just in time for the rodeo.
Always.
Yeah, that's rodeo weather right there.
I wish we could say that things were looking sunny for the Spurs.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite. So they were within 5 of the Bulls entering the fourth quarter, and then the turnovers reared up, and it just hurt the Spurs once again. They had 10 turnovers, resulting in 14 points. And because of that, yes, their fourth quarter woes continue. And Hurts and Mahomes, the both of them are ready to make some pretty cool Super Bowl history coming up. The Spurs tipped off the rodeo road trip at the Chicago Bulls, looking to sweep the 2-game regular season series. First quarter, Spurs trailing by 11, 32-21, when Blake Wesley hits a corner triple. Moments later, Wesley grabs a defensive rebound and drives back for a left-handed layup. He had 5 first quarter points, and the Spurs trailed 39-28 after 1. Second quarter, Bulls pick and roll. Pass goes to Nikola Vucevic. Slam dunk. Timeout Spurs, who trailed 48-37. This after they got within 4. SA charges back, though. Keldon Johnson attacks the rim with a Euro step. Counted and 1. Free throw was good, and they're down 48-45. But Chicago led 62-59 at halftime. Less than a minute into the third quarter now, Jakob Poeltl misses the hook shot. Vucevic falls asleep, and Yak gets an easy board and putback. Spurs get within 1, 62-61. Zach Collins now passes to Stanley Johnson, and he drives, scores, draws the foul to put the Spurs on top 81-78 after he made the free throw. But they trailed 90-85 heading into the final quarter. And that's when Chicago blew out the Spurs. Andre Drummond with a putback slam dunk. And the Spurs are down suddenly 102-88. Timeout didn't work because Drummond scored on back-to-back alley-oop dunks to give the Bulls an 18-point lead. And Chicago wins at 128-104, outscoring the Spurs in the fourth 38-19 for the Spurs' 9th straight loss.
Collapse down the stretch, mostly due to turnovers tonight. So we're up 3 with 4:05 to go in the third quarter. Things going fine, but then the turnovers come. third quarter and half the fourth. Just in that period, 9 turnovers. End of game, because neither team shot very well as far as threes are concerned. But taking care of the basketball is important, and we have those games where we do it, and we did it again tonight.
Spurs will next play Wednesday night, 6:30 at the Toronto Raptors. And speaking of the Raptors, they played in Memphis last night and beat the Grizzlies 106-103. Forward Pascal Siakam scored 19 points, including a pair of free throws with 9 seconds left to help Toronto rally from a 15-point deficit to win their second straight game. They won't play again until hosting the Spurs Wednesday night.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
You're looking at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, site of Super Bowl 57 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. The stadium has hosted 2 other Super Bowls in 2008 and 2015. Both the Chiefs and Eagles arrived yesterday to begin their big game preps in the desert. Now, this game will feature 2 of the best young signal callers in the league, and Eagles QB Jalen Hurts and the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes. At a combined age of 51 years and 337 days old on Super Bowl Sunday, Mahomes and Hurts will form the youngest Super Bowl starting quarterback matchup of all time. Plus, they are set to become the first black quarterbacks to square off in a Super Bowl.
It is history. You know, it's come a long way. I think there's only been 7 African-American quarterbacks to play in the Super Bowl. So to be the first for some is pretty cool. So I know it'll be a good one.
I've learned more and more about the history of the black quarterback since I've been in this league, and the guys that came before me and Jalen set the stage for this, and now I'm just glad that we can kind of set the stage for guys that are kids that are coming up now. And so it'll be a great game against 2 great teams and against another great quarterback.
Here's some funny video. Eagle center Jason Kelce was rooting for his brother and Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce in the AFC Championship game. Once the Chiefs won, Jason changed out of his KC shirt and back into his Eagles gear. After announcing his retirement again, Tom Brady now says he'll launch his career in broadcasting in the fall of 2024. The 7-time Super Bowl champion gave that update today on the Herd Radio Show while stating his NFL playing career is over. Brady explained that he wants to be fully committed when he starts as a Fox Sports NFL analyst and that he just needs time to decompress. Brady signed a reported 10-year, $375 million contract to be their top analyst. UTSA football leads the way after the break. Despite not having a full-time recruiting staff, Jeff Traylor and his UTSA Roadrunners are bringing in some talented players. The 2023 signees are now UTSA's #1 football class in program history and the top class in the American Athletic Conference, as well as the #1 class of all the Group of 5 conferences. After back-to-back Conference USA championships, the perception of the program is better, and the race building certainly makes it easy for Coach to land those great recruits.
It's easier to get in the homes. That'll be the best way to put it. Easier to get in the homes, easier to get phone calls taken. Birds up, meet's pretty cool. And it does help that our NFL success is really helping. Tariq Woolen, Pro Bowl, Spencer Burford starting NFC Championship game, Leroy Watson. We've got kids, in the XFL. We've got kids everywhere right now that are doing well. And all that just helps.
Birds up. Meep.
That's what I was
pretty cool.
That's what I was thinking. Birds up, meep. Yeah, it's cool. Yep, I get it. Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back after this. Okay, it's 8 days away. Here's something that you could do for Valentine's Day. You could send cards to kids at the Children's Hospital of San Antonio. In fact, that's what hospital staff there is encouraging everyone to do as a way to lift their spirits while they go through treatment, in some cases recovery. There are 4 card options to choose from, along with a message that you can write, and those cards are going to be delivered along with small gifts on Valentine's Day. If you want a link to send a card, just head to our website, KSAT.com, and they're adorable.
It's a great idea, too.
Yes.
Adam.
Hey, I like what I see tomorrow. It's just off and on light rain for most of the day, but come tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, some real rain with some thunderstorms, and some locations getting an inch or more if you're fortunate, and quiet the rest of the week.
All right, thank you. And that does it for us. Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30.
Have a great night. See you tomorrow.